Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Lee. The Golden State Warriors have officially just been cursed. And I'm sorry to any Warriors fans that are out there watching this video, because normally when you see someone, especially a public figure, predict your favorite team to win an NBA championship, you get all excited because you feel like that means that they're gonna win. But when Stephen A. Smith says your favorite team is going to win, you should probably wish that he hadn't. And that is because for the past 6 years in a row now, the team that he has picked to win it has been the team that lost. And yesterday, Stephen A. Smith predicted that the Golden State Warriors would win the championship.
I am predicting that the Golden State Warriors will hold on and knock off the Cleveland Cavaliers in a Game 7.
And let's take a real quick look at his track record. Back in 2011, he predicted the Miami Heat were gonna win.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA.
Back in 2012, he predicted the Thunder were gonna win.
The Miami Heat are once again NBA champions.
In 2013, he predicted the Spurs were gonna win.
It's back-to-back titles for the Heat.
In 2014, he predicted the Heat were going to win.
Antonio is back on top once again.
In 2015, he predicted the Cavs were gonna win.
The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions.
And last year, in 2016, he predicted that the Warriors were going to win.
The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Like I said, it's almost never a good sign when he predicts your favorite team to win it all. Can we just talk about this for a second, because it's honestly getting out of hand. As we all know, the offseason is coming up. One of the most exciting times of the year because a bunch of teams look to get better or worse before the beginning of next season. Trades, free agent signings, the draft. As an NBA fan, you just gotta love all of it. But now more than anything, the offseason just seems like a chance for teams to screw themselves over financially. What do you mean, SDC? What are you talking about? Look, I'll tell you. Some front offices are paying some of these players way too much money for no reason at all. With the salary cap constantly rising, players are getting more and more money. And some fans think that just because the salary cap goes up, that their favorite team can afford to sign more players since they have more money. Heck, with the way things are going, I think some GMs might have that mindset too. And you know, they could, theoretically speaking, be right. More money could allow you to sign more players, fill out your depth a little, but there is one huge flaw to that thinking. Players are demanding more money. Salary cap goes up and the asking price of the players goes up as well, which is great for the players. Hey, I'm not hating. I think it's great that they're getting paid more money. They're the ones going out there entertaining us and doing all of the work. So if there is more money to be had, then by all means, go for it. But with that being said, GMs, front offices, whoever is in charge of handing out some of these contracts, please, I beg of you, use your brain first. The max contract, look, some players deserve it. Some players go out there every night and perform at a high level. Maybe made the all-star team or carried their team to the playoffs, you know, did something to warrant getting paid the maximum amount of money that they are eligible to make. And it used to be like that, where not everyone could go out and demand a max contract. Only the best players were given max contracts. But now it seems like in order to get paid, you just gotta have a pulse. If you have a pulse, that means you have the potential to become a max player in the NBA. And am I wrong for thinking that max contracts should be handed out to players just because they have potential? It's like, how on earth are you gonna give all that money to a player just because they have potential? I just read an article claiming that multiple teams are willing to give Nerlens Noel a max contract this summer. Nerlens Noel is about to be making $25 million a year, and I'm not mad at him. If the money is there and they're willing to pay you that, then hey, go get that money. But I'm just saying, the GM that signs him to a max contract deserves to be fired ASAP. Because how are you gonna give that money to a player that hasn't done anything yet? Yo, he has potential. We have been saying that ever since he first came into the league, all right? He had potential back in high school. And I do agree, he does have potential, could be a good center in this league. But until he taps into that potential, if it were up to me, if we had a sit down about signing him to my team and he told me that he wanted a max contract worth over $25 million a year because he had potential, I'd say that one day he could potentially get a max contract, but not today. Once again, no hate on Nerlens or anything like that. I know some people are gonna say, you know, he will be good. You know, he had a rough time in Philly because they weren't playing him enough minutes, the injuries, blah, 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 blah. Man got traded to Dallas halfway through the season and still didn't do much. What did he average? Like 8.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block per game? And that warrants a max contract? And on top of that, don't you think it's kind of disrespectful to the players who deserve max contracts that some of these other guys are getting them too? Don't get me wrong, again, the players that deserve max contracts still get them. I'm not saying they don't, but they play their butts off to get that contract. Yet this other guy who really hasn't done anything yet is getting paid just as much as they are based on potential. The fact that Chandler Parsons got a max contract in today's NBA is an alarming sign. That proves to you that this is a real problem. This is an epidemic. Back when he was first a free agent, after he was with Houston, I'd say sure, you know, he has shown enough to warrant giving a max or close to max contract. He was averaging a little over 16 points per game, 5.5 rebounds and 4 assists, so was a good all-around offensive player. Didn't play any type of defense, but still, a good young offensive player. You know, Dallas signed him to a 3-year deal worth $46 million. Doesn't sound like much now, but back then that was a lot of money to spend on a player. And he was decent his first year there, battled some minor injuries, but still produced similar numbers to the ones he put up in Houston. Then the next year he was battling even more injuries, and his numbers took a decent dip to now where he was only averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Then after that year, he sees the salary cap about to rise to a new all-time high. Timofey Mozgov is about to be making $64 million, so he's like, you know what, let me get in on this action. And can someone please explain to me how this man landed a $94 million deal with the Memphis Grizzlies? $94 million. Did you hear that he averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists and was battling injuries, and yet he got $94 million? That is over $20 million a year. And do you know the numbers he produced while getting paid over $20 million a year? 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. How many of you, if an NBA team came up to you on the streets and said, you know what, you can come play for me and I will give you at least $20 million this year if you can score 6 points per game? Actually, no, we won't even say 6 points per game. He scored a total of 210 points last season. If you can give me 210 points, I will give you $20 million. How many of you would take that deal and also feel confident that you could fulfill it? I know I would. That's only scoring a little over 1 basket per game. And Chandler Parsons is making the same amount of money that Bradley Beal and Andre Drummond are. Could you imagine being Beal, watching Chandler sit on the bench making the same amount of money as you? I definitely feel like I would deserve to make more than him. I'm actually out there playing, getting buckets. That guy struggles to make a bucket, but our paychecks look the same. And overall, this is also just setting a terrible example for future players, or even players in the NBA right now on their rookie contracts. By giving max contracts to players who honestly don't deserve it, you're basically telling the other guys, you don't even have to be that good in order to get the max. All you need to do is prove that you have a pulse and tell them you have potential, and they will be lining your pockets with cash. And you know, there is just way too many players getting paid max contracts, and believe it or not, it is hurting the teams. Teams can no longer afford to sign good players during free agency because of all the players coming off their rookie deals have to be paid top dollar, because if you don't, someone else will, and you will wind up losing that player for nothing. And this is a trend that has started and will not stop until some type of qualifications are put up for what qualifies you to become a max player. For example, let's take a look at the Washington Wizards' current situation. Otto Porter Jr. is about to be a restricted free agent this summer. You know, he had a pretty good year. One of, if not the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. Not sure if he finished number 1, but I know for a while he had the best 3-point percentage in the league. You know, he was just a solid player. Could easily be the 4th, maybe 3rd option on a championship caliber team. Does that qualify you for max money though? Like when you think of max players on the Wizards, you think of Bradley Beal and John Wall. Do you think of Otto Porter Jr.? I know I don't. But because teams like the Nets will be willing to give Porter the max just because they don't have anyone else to spend the money on, in order to keep him, the Wizards will have to max that contract and also give him the max, meaning that because of that, they can no longer afford to fill their bench like they desperately need to because they have no more money. Same thing happens to the Pistons with Casey. MVP. You know, he's shown signs. He's a solid defender and an average offensive player at the moment. He could possibly be the third or fourth option or so on a championship caliber team. Do I think he deserves a max contract? Not yet, but he will get one, because unless Detroit wants to let him walk for nothing, they will have to match the contract that Brooklyn throws at him this summer. So really, I just think that some type of rules need to be made as to what players can qualify to get a max contract. You know, they have to do this or do that or something, because at this rate, everyone's about to get a max contract after their rookie skill, because no team wants to let their first round draft pick just walk away for nothing. The Grizzlies giving Chandler Parsons that max contract, though, that's just on them. I mean, no one else was going to do it. And that is going to lead us to the question of the day. Do you think that too many players are getting paid max contracts? What would you do to fix this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But now let's take a look at what you guys said in yesterday's video. And yesterday, we did a mock draft of the NBA lottery, and I asked you guys what players you thought are being overlooked and what players you think are being overhyped. And here's what you said. I think Dennis Smith Jr. is being overlooked. Dennis Smith is underrated. Dude went from top 3 to 6 to 10, and Frank is way too overhyped. He has subpar athleticism, no jumper. Yeah, he is good on defense and he has potential, but he should not go 8. Trust me, he will be booed if that happens. We want Isaac or Smith. Donovan Mitchell equals most underrated player in the draft. This draft is crazy deep, and I'd say outside of maybe top 5 picks, anything could happen. As for the whole Frank thing, I think we're just in a bit of a craze right now. You know, people see him and they see like a smaller point guard version of Giannis or something like that. So that's what I think he's projected to go so high. And to be honest, I wouldn't be mad if he fell at 12th, so my Pistons could pick him up. And also on a side note, maybe booing players is good luck for Knicks fans. I mean, same thing happened to Porzingis, and look how that turned out. Like I said, though, leave your answers for today's question of the day down in the comment section below. But other than that, thank you guys once again for watching the video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks, Team SEC, and I'm out of here. Peace!